What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the HG Sports Podcast. This is where your usual programming of the weekly recaps, previews, and news would be for this channel. But instead, we're going to have a little bit of a special week because it is Thanksgiving on Thursday. I thought we would have a kind of a fun, short Thanksgiving episode. I was going to do previewing the Raiders and Chiefs, and then I was still gonna preview the Bears and Lions, but instead I'm gonna preview all of the Thanksgiving games, and then I'm gonna have a little list at the end, as I usually like to have. And no recaps this week, unfortunately. That kind of just shortens up my time that I could get this out for, because I'm trying to get it out before Thursday, because I know a lot of people aren't going to view it on Thursday, so I want to make sure people can listen to it and view it. And then putting film in there and talking about the film, it takes a lot more time, so figured I might as well do a little short 20-25 minute episode and let you guys get back to business. Alrighty, let's get right into it. Let's start talking about the Bears versus the Lions. The 5-6 Chicago Bears come into Ford Field trying to continue Matt Nagy's, the coach of the Chicago Bears, his winning streak against the 3-7-1 Detroit Lions. And what I mean by that, the winning streak, is the Chicago Bears, since Matt Nagy has taken over for them, for coach, they're 3-0 against the Lions. So, and I believe that this streak will continue after Thursday. I think the Bears are going to win, but let's go ahead and take a look at the game, and let's continue on talking about the Bears specifically. They're coming into the game with the fourth best defense in the league, and I do believe that this defense shouldn't have much issue with the Lions offense, and the one person they do have to watch in this game would be Scarbrough. Okay, with him only getting 50%, yes, that's it, 50% of the offensive snaps, he still has rushed for 153 yards in the past 2 games. He's a force to be reckoned with, believe me. He was running all over the Dallas Cowboys, and then they had to stop running the ball because they were kind of going back and forth, and they were down, so they couldn't. He's not really much help in the passing game in that aspect, but he is still a force to be reckoned with when it comes to the downhill, north to south side running. He's not very agile, but once he gets going, he really gets going. And then in the last game, he rushed for almost 100 yards. So that's where most of his yards of the 153 in the past 2 games come from. So the Bears defense is going to be fine, even with Bo. I think it's going to be okay. All the problems in this game and the entire season for the Chicago Bears lies within Mitchell Tribusky, which I did talk about. And I believe it was the last video I talked about him. But all the problems lie within him. The offense this year is ranked 29th in the league, with Mitchell only attempting 6.1 yards per attempt, which is the lowest in the NFL. They really, get this, I know this is about to be crazy thing to say. They need to find a way to score points. No, but really, they really need to score just enough points to beat the Detroit Lions. They don't need to do too much. I think the key factor in this game is definitely going to be David Montgomery. If he can get going, which the Detroit running defense is not that great. We see that pretty much repetitively every single week. But if he can get going, then maybe Matt Nagy will put some faith into Mitchell Trubisky and then take a couple shots down the field. I don't think it's going to spread the field too much, but I do think it's definitely going to help. Either get David Montgomery, the extra man, out of the box so it's not fully loaded up, or it could give an opportunity to Allen Robinson to make a play down the field. Can you tell that I have no faith in Mitchell Trubisky at all? Man, I'm kind of bad-mouthing the guy every episode, it feels like. Let's move on to the Detroit Lions, who are coming off of a loss to one of the NFL's worst teams, the Washington Redskins. It's a big blow to any confidence if you have any left as a football team, at this point for the Lions. to lose to someone like Dwayne Haskins in the Washington Redskins. Not saying Dwayne Haskins is awful or terrible. He's not great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying he's good either. But it's the Washington Redskins, their organization as a whole, and their team as a whole. They're just, I mean, you see their record. I don't gotta tell you. They're atrocious. They're awful. You're watching the video. You like the NFL. You know they suck. I don't gotta tell you that. This team is gonna have to have a lot of things swing in their way in order for them to beat the Bears. Number one is that you have to have the injury swing the right way, because Matthew Stafford being out is pretty much you kiss the season goodbye. But then when you have a promising backup like Jeff Driskell potentially going to sit out the next game, you're basically looking at a team that looks like it's nice to walk all over. A team that looks like they just lost to the Washington Redskins. I know that Jeff Driskell was playing that game, but I do have a little bit of faith more than the backup to him. You know, the third stringer. He's a third stringer for a reason. I don't have a lot of faith in him. So the injuries really need to swing their way so Jeff Driskell can actually play in the game. Okay? Number two, you need your really, really bad 29th ranked defense to play well enough to stop the really, really bad Bears offense. So, that's luck. How well is Mitchell Tribusky going to play? How well are your guys going to play? I think Darius Slay is going to lock down Allen Robinson if he follows him around the whole game. If he doesn't, it could be a problem. But if he does follow him around, I think he has him on lock. I think Darius Slay is a very, very, very good corner and can lock down most of any wide receiver in the league, especially a second-tier wide receiver like Allen Robinson. He can shut him down. No problem. Number three is with or without Jeff Driskell, you need to find some way, once again, about to say something super crazy, to put some type of points on the board as a team. Whether it's a kick return, punt return, block punt. You're throwing a touchdown, you're running in a touchdown, your defense picks off the play. You need to score some type of points, because averaging only 7 points per game with Matthew Stafford being out is awful. And lastly, play with some passion and beat your division rivals. That's not luck. That's just your determination. How much determination do you have as a team? Even though your season's gone and it sucks, you're still playing a rival, and you still want to beat them. So go out there and beat them. Do your job. All right, my final prediction is a 24-10 Bears win. I'm trying not to do so many predictions, but I figured I'm gonna venture out the norm a little bit, because I'm predicting every game. I'm not really choosing which one I do and not do, because usually I choose the entertaining games and be like, oh, well, if they want to win, here's what this team has to do, and if they want to win, here's what they have to do. Don't really have a final prediction. That's what if you're watching consistently, then that's what you kind of see in the past couple of the weeks that I've done this. I've been trying to venture more towards that instead of predictions, but since I'm not really choosing my predictions, my previews, I'm just going to go ahead and give a full-blown who I think is going to win. Might as well. Alrighty, and let's move on to the to the Bills versus the Cowboys. The Buffalo Bills are looking to continue their successful 2019 season by going and playing the Dallas Cowboys and securing a very, very crucial win. The key for the Buffalo Bills in this game is to pound the rock and hand it off to Frank Gore or Devin Singletary. It doesn't really matter as long as they're handing off the ball. Pound the rock, dude. Pound it. Establish the run game fast and very early. The Dallas Cowboys are ranked as the 7th best defense in the entire league. It's very misleading. The secondary is what's holding down that rank completely. I think they're ranked, I want to say 5th with their secondary. And then they're middle of the pack when it comes to their run defense. And people have absolutely demolished them with their run defense alone. If the Buffalo Bills can get the running backs going, then I think that they can dominate and definitely get the win. I don't think they'll have a whole lot of problems getting the running backs going, considered that they are ranked the 5th best rushing team in the league when it comes to yards per game. And then on top of having a favorable running game, the defense should do quite well after Dallas only putting up 9 points in the last game against New England. If you don't remember this, the defense is only ranked 2 spots below New England, or 1, depending on the source, whether you look at ESPN or Pro Football Outsiders, or what is Pro Football Reference or Football Outsiders. Whatever you look at, they either have New England 1 or 2. Either way, they're third. That's what I'm trying to say, is they're only third. So they're not too far behind San Francisco 49ers and the New England Patriots. So probably going to be looking at somewhere around the same thing for Dallas. And then if with the secondary battling against Dak Presscott, he's having an MVP type season. He's in that race. If they can hold him at bay, the only other person they got to worry about is Zeke. And that's where the Bills' weakness is, the rushing defense. Same thing with Dallas. New England has the same exact, not New England, I'm sorry, Buffalo has the same exact problem. They need to worry about Zeke, stack that box, and kind of hope that their safeties and their corners can cover the guys they're supposed to, which they can, especially with Micah Hyde and Tre'Davious White. And they have that one guy, I forgot his name, something Johnson. He wears, I forgot what number he wears out there, but he plays defense. He's a corner. He did really, really well last week. And if they can lock down the wide receivers, which they're talented wide receivers, they can lock them down, then stack that box and try to stop Zeke. That's where it comes into play for them. And then let's talk about the Cowboys. Cowboys are coming into this game 6-5 after getting out-coached in New England. They are going to be looking for a win to stay atop of that division and fight for a wild card spot, because the Eagles' schedule is getting a lot easier coming up, and the Cowboys are getting a lot harder. So you see how they're going to have to fight for every single win to stay on top of that division to get the wild card spot that they want. The key for Dallas is to get the ball into Amari Cooper's hands right out the gate and get his confidence going right back at home, because he didn't have a single reception last game. He almost got one. He didn't get it, though. And to get his confidence back up, get him the ball immediately. And at home, Amari Cooper is averaging 8 receptions for 135 yards a game, and then he has 5 total touchdowns at home. This is why they need to come right out of the gates, blazing hot, on fire, smoking, and get the ball in the playmaker's hands. Okay? Next, they need to stop killing themselves with penalties. It seems like every single time they're stringing together a nice dive, going down the field, they shoot themselves right in the foot with a false start, a holding, something that backs them up 10 yards, kills them every single time. Then they never recover from the penalty. They stop immediately right after that, and they leave crucial points right up on the board. They don't go get them. And the last thing that Dallas needs to do is have a defense play, their defense play like they did in the very last game. Because whatever coaching the defense got, the last game, it worked. They stopped almost every single aspect of the Patriots' offense, and they need to do it again. I say almost because there was obviously the one drive, N'Keal Harry caught the touchdown, and that's what won them the game practically in the beginning of the game. They didn't stop that, obviously. That's why I say almost. My final prediction is 27-34 Buffalo wins. Alrighty, let's move on to the Saints and Falcons. This is going to be the quickest one right here. Not a whole lot to say about it. But let's start with what I have the most to say about, which is the Saints. They'll be looking to continue their very impressive 2019 season. Even with Drew Brees out, they continue to win, and Drew Brees back in. They didn't look like they misstepped or in any miscommunications. But they will be looking to get revenge on the Falcons that shocked them a few weeks ago in New Orleans. Look for Drew Brees to put up monster numbers in this game. And if Drew Brees is having a good game, that most certainly means that the best wide receiver in the league is having a good game. Michael Thomas, duh. Who else would I be talking about? 1,200 yards, over 100 catches. He's on pace right now to beat Marvin Harrison's reception record. Insane. The dude is having quietly a massive season, and I feel like nobody talks about him. I feel like everybody, when DeAndre Hopkins was doing his thing last year, wasn't catching a ball, never dropped a ball. Oh, he never dropped a ball all season. That's cool, but was his catch percentage higher? Was the balls that flew his way, did he catch them at a higher percentage? No, Michael Thomas did. I believe he has 120 targets and he has over 100 catches. Everybody else is way lower. Julio has like 100 targets, but only 60 receptions. That right there, that shows you how good Michael Thomas is. Look for him to put up numbers that mirror Amari Cooper's numbers last year on Thanksgiving, except with a few more receptions because he's just that good. So I'll look for about a monster 180-yard performance for 10 catches, 12 catches. Look for that and a couple touchdowns, 2 touchdowns. Let's say that. Put it on the board. Okay. And also this defense, let's talk about that. They'll be hunting on Matt Ryan. They'll be hunting for Matt Ryan. And they'll be preying on Matt Ryan this game around. All right. The Saints defense is right outside the top 10 of pressures on a quarterback this season. And Matt Ryan is coming off of a game where he was sacked for literally the entire duration of the game, it felt like. For, a pass rush that wasn't that good in Tampa Bay. They have Shaq Barrett, and he was getting off the line fast. And he was killing them. Look for the same thing. The key for the Saints is to play like the Saints. Play with, and just sprinkle in an extra little passion for a revenge game. That's all you're looking for. Okay, Falcons, pretty short, pretty sweet. Even though they're shown to beat this team, they've shown that they can do it. I don't have any faith that they can. Everything is working against them, from a poor offensive line to a poor defense, poor secondary. This team needs to do something, overhaul, and go back to the drawing board, revamp this team. I think it probably starts from the coach and goes down ever since Kyle Shanahan left. You need a different offensive coordinator, dude. You have practically the same offense, and you're not putting up the same numbers, and you're just not as good. And your secondary sucks. Your defense sucks. Final prediction, 37 Saints, 17 Falcons. Look for the blowout. All right, you guys. This is... Wow, I am moving. Holy crap. I'm at 17 minutes right now. Wow, I said a quick video. I wasn't lying. All right, you guys. Before I start with this, let me know what you guys are doing for Thanksgiving. I'm curious on what you guys are going to do. You guys are my followers. And let me know, too. If you're a first-time viewer of my channel, let me know. I'm very curious on who finds my videos and how you find them. Let me know about that. And press subscribe, like the video. If you like the video, don't like it just because I say. If you like the video, subscribe if you want to keep up with my content. But let's move on to my favorite part of every single video, which is the end, where usually I put some type of news or I put a list. This year's list, or kind of ruined it. This week's list is the top 5 individual Thanksgiving performances of all time. My opinion completely. Top 5. Let's start with number 5. I don't have an honorable mention, by the way. I didn't want to throw any out there. Number 5 is Roger Brown, defensive end for the Lions. Okay, he was a defensive end for the Lions, and in 1962 against the championship defending Packers, the one with Bart Starr, the one with all those great Packer players, he sacked Bart Starr a whopping 7 times. I don't know how I never heard about this before doing some research into it and seeing what the best Thanksgiving performances were. Don't know. I looked at a bunch of lists and I looked at a bunch of performances. This guy was always super low. Do people not realize how hard it is to get 7 sacks and they're putting him so low? That's insane. That's why I put him in my top 5, because I understand that's insane. Number 4 is going to be RG3 in 2012. He was a rookie at that point, and then he led the Redskins, who were then 3-6, looked like their season was over, to a victory over the Dallas Cowboys to kick off a 7-game winning streak to get them into the playoffs. So this ultimately what kicked off 7 games, winning them all, getting them into the playoffs, and winning the division. Griffin, he went 24-28. 311 yards and 4 touchdowns in 2012. I believe he threw for 3 of them, and then he ran 1 in. He also did have an interception, but it doesn't really matter when you when you win the game. All right, number 3 was also number 1 on a lot of people's lists. I don't agree with it. Number 3 is Peyton Manning. It's when he tied the record for the most touchdown passes in a Thanksgiving game with 6, doing it in only 3 quarters, which he also killed the Lions 41-9. He went 23 for 28, 236 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Why I put it 3 is because there was another quarterback, I say tied the record. The other quarterback who did it, I forgot his name, a little disrespectful for forgetting his name. He did it also, and he also did it in 3 quarters. Duh. Is it because it was against the Lions when Barry Sanders was getting his Hall of Fame, not his Hall of Fame jacket, his Ring of Honor? Is that why it was kind of haha? That's why I don't put it number 1. It's impressive, don't get me wrong, but it should be right up. The other one should be right up there too, and that one was sometimes not even on the list. Disrespectful, if you ask me. Number 2 is O.J. Simpson when he rushed for 273 yards. That was a then record of all time for single game rushing yards. But the only reason that it's not number 1 on this list is because the Bills didn't win the game. They actually kind of got crushed. It's weird that a running back runs for that many yards and plays like that. You would expect them to win. No, they didn't. That's why they're not number 1. Number 1, I'm sure you guys have all guessed when as soon as I said the list, the first name that pops into every single person's head when you say Thanksgiving performances, say the name with me. Randy Moss. Okay, Randy Moss, you've already heard it a million times. 3 catches, 3 passes, 163 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Also gave us one of the most iconic moments celebrating on the Dallas Star, and then he tries to do it again and gets knocked off. Some of the best moments, maybe the best moments on Thanksgiving ever. Vikings beat the Cowboys 46-36, and that's why it's number 1 instead of number 2. Yes, I did say it's individual performances, and maybe that's why I should have put, if I really felt like OJ was 1 instead of 2, I maybe should have switched them out. But honestly, when you're an all-star, you're playing like how you're supposed to. You should be winning the games too. Okay. All right, you guys, that's all I have. We're sitting at 22 minutes. Man, I blew by that episode. All right. Don't forget to like if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to keep up with the content, please. And then set the notification bell so you get it when I post immediately. Because sometimes I'll post early in the morning and then I won't post it. Like, I won't shout it out on any of my social media being like, hey, you guys, go check out the video until hours later. So if you want to keep up and watch it immediately, make sure to click the notification button. Also, I want more comments of suggestions for lists at the end of the videos. If you guys like the lists at the end of the videos, who you want me to recap, who you want me to preview, all that type of stuff. I'm doing player breakdowns. Again, the Colin Kaepernick video is coming, I promise. Next weekend, it is coming. You'll see it. Derek Carr, the breakdown won't come until the end of the year. It's a lot to work on. I'm going through every single one of Kaepernick's throws that he's ever made. Okay? And I'm going to be doing the same thing for Derek Carr in 2019, going through every single throw, every single sack, every single run. Him running, obviously, not Josh Jacobs running, but him running. It's a lot of work. It probably won't come till the end of the year, so I can have a full 2019. So if they tank and he starts doing bad at the end of the year, then you're not getting a biased half the year player breakdown. But the Colin Kaepernick one is coming first. You should see that next weekend, probably December 7th. I think is when I set the due date for that one. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt there. Sorry if that sounds weird. I had a bunch of stuff going on in the background, so I had to delete that portion, and I'm re-recording it right now. What I was going to say is I hope you guys have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Let me know what you're doing for Thanksgiving. I'd love to hear from you guys, and peace.